Welcome to What the Flick, everybody. Brett and Alonso, Ben. Breaking Bad. It's depressing. Like there three. We have three left after this. This episode was called
Tojahile,
which we guess is.
I don't know. I just wanted to seem cultured and able to pronounce the Indian reservation.
That's what it was.
where he buried the money.
Yes.
The Indian reservation where he buried the money.
But I did fail at pronouncing it. But that's okay.
It's okay.
And where something incredible is going to happen in the first
Holy
3
crap.
minutes.
Start with the end.
Next week. Yeah, I think we have to start with the end because there was a moment there when they're shooting at each other where you realize, oh shit, it's going to end in the middle of the shootout. Like in some moment here, I'm about to see Vince Gilligan's name.
Yeah, you're wondering whether someone's going to get hit by one of these myriad bullets.
And let me just jump to then one of my favorite things about that shootout is how long did we see it? What was it? 90 seconds?
At
Something
least,
like that?
yeah.
90 seconds, maybe 2 minutes. No one got hit.
Yeah, terrible shots.
Right, which is how it is. It's really hard to shoot somebody. They're
even with an automatic weapon.
But I've read, it's hard. Yeah, they're incredible. Automatic weapons are inaccurate. That's why you got to be close. Right, and they went and they hid behind stuff and
Also not hit any gas tanks.
and you get right, which is good because here's what doesn't happen when you shoot a gas tank. It's possible the car will blow up, but it probably won't.
You know a lot about shooting assault rifles.
I do. I've read. First of all, it's one of the big misconceptions about shooting a gas tank. That's just movies. That doesn't.
Yeah.
It could happen.
And when cars fall, I know that when cars fall over cliffs, they don't blow up.
They don't blow up
that often either.
Especially modern cars.
In movies, they give you just enough time to walk to the edge and look down and think maybe they made it. Then they blow up.
Right.
That's it.
But then the cops come and investigate, and there's no body in the car. That's right. Yeah, he crawled out. So it's very hard to shoot people, and so I liked that. Eventually, though, I think clearly here somebody's going to get shot. It seems to me inconceivable that Steve survives. Isn't that his name?
Gomi?
Isn't Steve?
Gomi.
Gomi. Yeah.
Gomi's a loose end. I just feel like Hank's conversation with Marie was too much of a goodbye.
Yep.
I love you. I got it. It's done.
Everyone
has enough time to look at that and be like, oh, so that's the healthy relationship in the show.
That can't last.
That is a positive marital bliss where it doesn't matter how much money you have so long as you each are accomplishing goals and redeeming yourself.
And a drug dealer pays for your physical therapy.
Yep. Yeah, well,
that feels like Hank's dead. It does.
Yeah.
It may well be, and although I have to say, when I saw Agent Gomez sort of running around the car, I just thought, oh, of course, that's why we've had a person of color here all this time. So somebody had to die in a scene like this.
Totally, yeah. Why didn't they show their badges? Because you can't.
Because that would have meant not being Amy.
Right, so I would have kept.
You tell us, gunman.
I would have kept Gomi locked with the big gun. And I would have had Hank be like, oh, it's right here. It's there.
Here's the thing.
It wouldn't have mattered.
We dudes with, assault rifles here, pointing them at you. We will give ourselves up to you two police officers. It felt too much like a trap.
I agree. I'm curious why there was never a. Why he did?
Those are not legal AR-15s.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
And who knows? I mean, given how weird this whole investigation has been, and how Hank's been having to kind of do it on the DL, like putting Jesse in his house and stuff, because all roads lead to Hank at this point. It may well be that they're doing all this off book, and they don't have their badges with them, and they're
before those guys showed up, even after Hank told them not to, right? Before Todd's uncle shows up. It's hard because Todd is played by Jesse, so that's tricky for me. Jesse Clemens. So before those guys showed up, I kept thinking was Hank's, because the one thing that felt like a Batman villain confessing his plot, or James Bond villain confessing his plot at the end when he thinks he's got it under control. Hank's complete spilling of the beans in the phone conversation with Jesse, like revealing everything, which is really what got him arrested.
Wait,
right?
you're saying Hank, Walt. You're talking about
Walt. Walt's spilling of the beans in the conversation with Jesse as he's driving maniacally to protect the money. Which
I killed this person.
Right. I did it. I did it for you. I ran down those drug dealers. I killed Gus Fring.
That was a lot of exposition.
It was a lot.
Also, those library books I didn't take back when I was 16.
So that felt, but I guess under the circumstances. But if those guys hadn't shown up anyway, even after Walt says don't show, I thought that the way Hank is getting out of this is that there's a warrant issue. Like, is any of that usable? Is any of the thing that Walt is? What is Walt? What is Jesus? What is wrong with me? What is Hank actually going to take Walt in with?
Exactly. That's what I was saying. Like, where's the evidence? And even if they dig up the money, then how did they know? I don't know. Yeah, it all seemed a little. I think like he was like Hank. No, you got me doing it. Walt was wise to remain mum because I think he realized they didn't have anything on him, and that Saul would probably be able to get him out because it was not.
Admissible.
There was nothing.
Except maybe it is. Maybe a phone conversation that the cops listen to when one person lets you listen, Jesse, right?
Oh, true.
Lets you listen, and then he makes this confession and you overhear it. Maybe that, I don't know.
But we'll never know because they did show up.
We'll never know because they did show up and some people are going to die.
Now we didn't do last week's episode Rabid Dog, so we should maybe work backwards a little and just talk about the fact that that episode starts with one of the great dun-dun moments of this series, which is, oh shit, Jesse and Hank are now on the same side.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are going to collaborate, and that was just one of those moments of, oh god, now we're really in the thick of it.
This week, Hank had that moment too. I don't think Hank's, oh god, I don't think Hank was like, I'm caught, when he was behind the rock and he saw the car pull up with Gomi and Hank and Jesse.
Walt was not caught. Walt felt.
I'm unbelievable.
We need
Walt,
flashcards.
Yeah,
Mr.
Walt.
Mr. White.
Mr. White.
Mr. White, when he collapsed against, he seems like a Hank.
Mr. White felt like he had the power even before the white power people show up.
So when Mr. White collapses against the rock, when Hank and Gomi and Jesse pull up, I thought it was, and we see him cry. I don't think it was cry because he was caught. It was cry because Jesse actually did it.
Yeah.
He betrayed him,
he's been
It was
betrayed
Fredo.
there together, right? He had the same ta-da moment that the show gave us the week before.
Sure, exactly, yeah, because I think, again, there is that whole sort of, he's a bad dad, but he has definitely been trying to be a dad to Jesse, and so the betrayal of that,
By nearly killing Jesse.
Well,
the dad the kid who Jesse was trying to be a dad.
I love the reluctantly now Walt has to close up this loose end. I just love that and even really before he knows the extent and means by which Jesse has betrayed him. Jesse, he figured there would be another showdown where Jesse just shows up. He's like, Mr. White, I'm gonna kill you right in my face,
bitch.
bullet, bitch. But instead, it's even worse because now he's gone around and formed like a family unit with the other side of his family.
Right, that's right. It's total betrayal. It's total loss for Mr. White. I love what they did about that first episode about the Rabid Dog. On the shelf when Jesse picks up the book, he picks up Dutch, which I guess is the Reagan biography. And you see what was above on the shelf?
The picture of Walt as Santa Claus?
The complete season, all 3 seasons of Deadwood.
I didn't notice that.
I was like, oh, that's so fantastic. It's such a great little shout out to like, hey, I loved that show. That was great.
Yeah, we're gonna have a couple shootouts, showdowns.
That's right. Oh, maybe it was
in the desert.
Maybe it was a premonition of coming, but I love that. The whole complete season, the same box set I have.
There was a great tweet that somebody had. It was Breaking Bad spoiler. Walter White is Santa Claus.
I don't know. So I love that. Obviously, it was very telling. I did not know what they were doing with the brains.
How much does a brain cost to buy it, and
from
where
a
do you
butcher
buy
shop?
that? And I don't think brains come in that plastic.
Yeah,
thing.
that's true. You probably would have at least come like wrapped in heavy paper. Look, I got Lindy and Grundy in my neighborhood.
Yeah,
I'm sure if I asked them, they could dig out a brain for me.
So cops deceit. That is what the Supreme Court has ruled that cops can lie pretty much all they want. So showing Huell the dead Jesse, the faked dead Jesse photograph made sense, and faking the money to Walt, all of that legal and incredibly effective and so true that like Walt, who is so smart, right, so sophisticated, would actually get. I love that they wrote that in because I'm sure some people thought Walt would be able to tell the soil difference. Right, but he didn't.
He didn't.
He was too.
Yeah, they have the cloud of anger and
Panic.
being deceived and panic, and
I just kept
betrayed.
thinking as he drove out there that he's going to occur to him at some point that he's talking too much on the phone, but it never did.
It was just well acted.
Well, I think the last thing in the world he ever expected was that a phone line to Jesse wasn't a safe phone line.
Right.
So
So he should. Yeah, I guess.
But he arguably should have after the last conversation with Jesse.
But no, I mean, he knows that Jesse is a live wire and all that stuff, but he's not thinking that the feds are listening or that Jesse is feeding Hank, information.
I was thinking that given the fact that there was a Brock element, the Brock bit of communication toward Jesse, and Jesse didn't respond, there should be some suspicion on Walt's end that Jesse didn't get that, and try to figure out why Jesse didn't get that.
I agree, so
true,
I would
yeah.
think that Walt might have put that together. And it's not like, he knows the feds know.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what Hank has done.
And also, Huel is another thing where I was thinking you can't just isolate Huel, because Huel was such a faith. All the illegal crap that Huel did, why he would ever defect at that point.
We have to think that Walt lost his edge there because, and maybe it was the craze about the money. But you put stuff together, it's the kind of thing that, and I didn't mean this to come out as as a criticism of the show. I think it's a criticism, I guess, of what happened to Walt. Like, he's lost his edge between Huel vanishing, between Jesse not showing up to see Brock and the girl, between Jesse saying to Walt on the phone, "I'm going to get you where it hurts most. I'm going to get you where you live," and Hank knowing, and they had the presumption earlier that with Skyler and Walt that, okay, Hank hasn't told anybody, he doesn't really have anything yet. But you can't just rely on that forever. And Jesse, he can't reach Jesse, and Huel
and also it's one of these times. They always say, they're serial killers who execute their victims perfectly and without leaving any trace whatsoever. But one of those times you're going to mess up.
Right.
That you just can't keep
because
doing
they want to get caught.
and you just think back to all the times where this is not new to Walt. It's not new that Jesse can have turned on him, sort of. He could be afraid and he needs to do something quick to remedy that and get him back on his side. It's not, there's always been times where things just don't make sense to Walt. It seems like things have gotten out of his control, but he sits there and has a moment where he figures it out.
And also just the hubris of criminals. They get caught because other criminals turn on them, inevitably, which is exactly what happened to Gus. It's what Gus did to the first guy. It's what Walt did to Gus. It's what Salamanca did to Gus. It's what the brothers did. It's what Lydia did to the. And what a great line that was. The guy who looked like Wolverine, because that guy did look like Hugh Jackman.
It's what the weird.
The Lydia Todd there. The Todd's Lydia is with the lipstick and everything.
They were so hurt. First of all, her execution of the guy who looked like Wolverine was sensational. And then her matter-of-factness about it was great. And then this conversation here, where her blue conversation was, what a great criminal mastermind she is. She explains everything. She's so careful. And then and Todd is great too, because when Walt calls him, he just gives a simple, it's Jesse Pinkman. He's like, okay, got it. He's not moved at all.
He's taking a pizza order, basically.
But yet he's sort of oddly this warm, sympathetic character.
Weirdly, that is an interesting line that guy is walking. The thing that struck me with the big finale here with the shootout was, of course, the flash forward, which is, we know that Walt doesn't die here. But who does, and what does happen to Walt? They've been stringing that along all season, and it's
Gomi and Hank are killed, and Jesse. Jesse can guess about the money, but Jesse can't dig over a mile radius and find it. And if Jesse could die also, that would be strange, I think.
I can't imagine 3 more episodes without any of those characters, without Jesse or Hank or Gomi.
I don't know, though. There was a moment where I thought Hank was gonna shoot Jesse, and I was like, then I would like to see how the rest of this show plays out, because there's always a good move where you get rid of someone you thought was so integral to the.
No, I'm not saying you can't get rid of any of them. I'm saying you can't get rid of all of them.
Right.
You can't get rid of Jesse and Hank and have 3 more episodes to go, I think.
And Gomi. There's no show without Gomi.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure Caesar's live the day of shooting.
Who's getting that ricin? That's the thing.
Who's getting the ricin? But nobody knows about that money except the cops.
Right.
So the money. If they die, the money's safe because the white supremacists, the slightly too smart and clever white supremacists.
Unless they kill Hank, find his phone, and look and see this image of of
a barrel
money
of money,
in
yeah.
the sand that looks kind of like this and go.
Right, but yeah,
No, but the soil doesn't match.
But the soil doesn't match.
so the
They'll notice.
right,
Yeah,
if they-
right.
or if they well, he gave them the coordinates. If they see those same coordinates on the lotto on the Powerball ticket.
Yeah, it's true. They have to wonder why.
But-
How did he know where he was?
When I say that they're a little too clever, I only mean it because when she said, "Where's the blue?"
Yeah.
and the guy goes, "I think the headline here is at 76%." That Wolverine guy, and I'm like, I don't think it's a white supremacist who uses the phrase. I think the headline here. But that's a little picky.
Also, one of my favorite moments in the shootout is when it's just Todd's face when he's shooting, just kind of like,
Yeah, I know.
just this dead eye, like.
Yeah,
Maybe he's this brilliant,
He's
future leader.
Sociopath.
He's a sociopath, though. I mean, because he's pleasant. He makes the tea. He's got a crush on a girl, but he killed the kid. He didn't care.
Right.
He's friends with Jesse. I mean, he's acquainted with Jesse. And when Walt says kill Jesse, he's like, okay, got it.
Right.
I'll tell my uncle
Right.
as soon as I see him.
He's like a literal
Yeah.
sociopath. It's supposed to like people say sociopath, they just mean jerk.
Yeah,
Right.
No,
He's like a literal, like cut and dry, no value given to personal relationships, and
Right.
don't fully understand.
But it was, I love Lydia. I think we're leading to then, I still think that when Walt gets I mean, there are two possibilities now for Walt in the flash forward of why he needs to be so heavily armed, why Jim Beaver needs to arm him. He needs it, it could be that the Nazis, the neo-Nazis have found out about the money, right? And that they're looking for him, or that they're coming to get his like maybe the Nazis took Skyler and
Yeah, or it's something about having to do with maybe he's not wanting to do the cook, and so they're
right.
You
So
know,
they
escalate.
put it together like we've said. They found out that money's got to be there. They're digging for it, and then Walt tells them where all this money is. They saw the photo. They're holding his family. Could be coming. I still feel like that we're mentioning that. I mean, the checks might be a total red herring.
Yeah.
But I feel like those guys who are such great 21st century bad guys, the Eastern European criminals, that, as I've mentioned before, that those guys could show up.
Cold War, this easy stuff.
Right, showed up. You've sent us bad stuff. We couldn't sell it. We're coming back because we think you owe us $2.5 million, and we're going to come get it. And they kill Lydia, and they're coming after. And she says Walt has the money. It's got to be one of those two. I don't think he's arming himself for Jesse or the feds. I think he's arming himself for other criminals.
Yeah, I think if not the white supremacists, then maybe the mystery checks show up. Who
The
knows?
mystery checks. Anyway,
3 more episodes.
I mean, it was just this is as big a cliffhanger as I can remember on
Yeah.
television. I mean, this is like a summer. I literally thought at last night when I finished watching it, like 7:15 out here. I thought, I can't go 7 days. I can't. What am I going to do for 7 days? We got to talk about it every day. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Thank you.